Hello everybody, welcome. It's Friday night. We've got through the week and we are fired up for another episode of the DHG Golf Club. We're creating our own 18-hole golf course. We're very excited. We've got our normal panel with us once again and a special guest. Can you guess who it is? Anyway, thank you for everybody who've done the poll and sent your opinion, and thank you for some of the videos. And let us have a drum roll because welcome everybody. We're back. Hello, everybody. Here we go. Yeah, give us a round of applause.
Ahoy!
Okay, I would like to take a moment of silence, should we say, because today was supposed to be our second attempt at the Masters at Serengeti, which did not happen. So everybody, let's give us a few seconds. Okay, who would have won? Anybody? Could Ruben have retained his title?
I don't know. I think, there's a couple of guys that were in good form before the lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
Would have been a tight one. But yeah, a lower handicapper again, I reckon, on that difficult course.
Yeah, damn man, it's such a pity. And I was in correspondence with them earlier and I was hoping for them to stay open and they were like, nah, it's not going to happen. Anyway, everybody, as usual, thanks for everybody on the sidelines commenting and watching with us. Hello, Basil. I already put Quibus on. Hello, Dorian. Anyone else? Yes, Dorian, we are sad. Did Dorian qualify? I'm sure he qualified, yes. Well done, Dorian. Okay, right. Who is our special guest today? Well, today, hopefully we can see our special guest. It is Donnie Geldenhuys. Welcome, Donnie Geldenhuys. The last time you were on our show, we didn't see much of you. Anyway, but we are here, and we're here to discuss the sixth hole. Okay. Shall we do
I can't see him, Maz, with the glare from that trophy in the background.
Oh, is that what it is? Let's, Donnie, how have you been? Show us that trophy, Donnie.
Wait. We'll put it over here.
Yeah, show us that
Yeah.
No, it's been good. It's like getting a little bit frustrated sitting at home now. It's like I want to get out playing golf. Like I said to a few other guys, our offices open up this week, so it's a step for me. It feels like a step for golf in the right direction. So yeah.
Good. Okay. Well, since you've been on, a lot has happened since you've been on, and we will go through and remind everybody of the courses that we've had. Here we go. So, the first four holes. Reading, par 4, par 5 at Glen Vista, par 3 at Kyalami, and then the stroke 1, Woodhill, par 4. Then we went on to Dainfern, par 4, 370 meters down the hill. Little tricky hole for many people. Okay, let's do this. Mr. Geldenhuys, take us through your thoughts of what Dainfern's par 4 is like.
Yeah, it's not a bad hole. Like you said, it's downhill. It's a tricky hole as well. Tee shot is crucial there. So definitely, it's not a bad hole. It's definitely is like a. You have to play it right to score well. Otherwise, it can bite you in the butt. And
while we're on this hole, what was your selection for hole 5? Did you have something different?
Yeah, Maz, actually, I missed that show. Yes, for that hole, so I actually didn't. But whose dog is there? No, it's like there's a couple of good ones there, but. Yeah, nothing comes to mind just that's standing out now.
We put him under pressure, boys. We put him under pressure. And he folded.
It's back like this on the golf course.
I think my choice for today is going to be it's going to be interesting.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for leading into that. Let's have a look at the choices for today. Our choices for today, right. Very interesting reading. We've got 11 par 4s, 2 par 5s, not 1 par 3. That already takes some of the debate out of it. And the common theme running through the sixth hole of many of the courses is that 9 are under 390 meters. So it looks like we're going to have 2 back-to-back short-ish par 4s coming up. So let's go through the holes. Serengeti. 6 holes, stroke 2 requires an accurate drive. to get into position because we need to carry that water, and big numbers, as we see that we've had in the Master, can happen on that hole. Highlands Gate, also a short par 4, another good-looking hole, like most of them. Peakenwood, the first of the stroke ones on the list, also a challenging hole. Get past the bunkers and a tricky shot to carry the water, popular on our polls today. Eagle Canyon, an interesting uphill blind risk-reward tee shot. Not too complicated. Firethorn has got is the shortest on the list today at 344 meters. I do like this hole personally because it's a good chance to make a birdie before the difficult 7th and 8th. Blue Valley, the hole is just, for me, a shorter version approach as the previous par 5, so there's nothing too special there. There are better holes. Copperleaf, well, this one is amongst the favorites today. And it's the second stroke one in the card, newly crowned a stroke one, and that is only 360 meters. So to have a stroke one at 360 meters, then you know. But I'll leave it to the panel to discuss this hole. Royal is the first of the 2 par 5s. I have a feeling we won't have a par 5 today because we'll probably leave that to Serengeti for the 8th hole. Glen Vista has a stroke 2 of 404 meters. Ibatsi, another undulating par 4 with a challenging green. Houghton, straight up the hill, nothing too difficult. And Jackal Creek has the second par 5 of 480 meters, everybody. So, does anybody want to start?
Me.
Ryan wants to start. Okay, Ryan, you do your thing. Go for it.
Yeah, so I've gone Copperleaf. Like Maz says, it's not the longest hole as a stroke one, but it's a really tricky sort of layout. When you stand on the tee box, you feel the water is definitely in range because it runs the whole way up the left side of the fairway. You do need to target the right side of the fairway. Club choice on the tee box, I think, comes into play. You can try and knock a long one down, keep it right, let it run down. But it's a thinking hole, and then obviously your approach to the green, depending where your tee shot ends. If you go shorter, you've got much more green to work with. You can go straight up the green at the sort of 45-degree angle that it sits at. You probably want to be going from middle to the back of the green. Make sure you get there. It should come back down the green a little bit. Definitely don't want to miss it right into that bunker. May as well take a step ladder and a spade to get down and up, or up and down. But yeah, it's a thinking hole. You definitely need to use your head when you're standing on the tee box on what you actually want to do off the box.
Great. Fats, I think you've gone for the same hole. So do you want to continue with the description of this Copperleaf hole?
Hey, Maz, yes. I also went for Copperleaf. Ryan explained it quite well. Just a couple of things I would like to add to what Ryan said. Off the tee box, yes, you want to go right. Because it does slope towards the water as well. You don't want to go too close to the water. But I've also seen many guys go right and it gets stuck in that rough. If
yes.
you go, just right of the fairway, you can get stuck there, and then you got a long second into that green. Club selection of the tee box is very important. You want to get as close to the water and as close to the green as possible to make the second a lot easier. It's also a bit of risk reward. So if you want to go for a 220 meter shot down the fairway, you've got to keep it right of the water, and obviously not too far right to get stuck in the rough. And then the approach shot, it's a lovely green. I just love it. That layers from back to front, protected by the bunkers. And then the rough at the back of the green, if you fly it over the green, you've got no chance of stopping it coming down. And then you might end up in one of those bunkers and you can just take your 6 and go. I just want to add, I don't think, to me, it should be a stroke 1. Yes, it's not an easy hole. It's a thinking hole, but I don't think it's a stroke 1. I don't know why they changed it. It used to be, I think, stroke 2 or stroke 4 or 3. Yeah. I don't think it should be a stroke 1.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Any other comments on this, Donnie? This is a hole you played very many times.
Yeah, obviously being a member there. I would say for a low handicap and low to mid handicap, it's quite an easy hole, if I can say so, because obviously their game is better. They can get to the fairway quite nicely. They can hit like a 4-iron hybrid down the fairway. But I think for a very high handicapper, that hole's quite challenging because you need to think most of your high handicappers struggle with ball striking. They also, like the bad shot, normally is sort of like a big fade or a slice. So, we all know slice takes with distance in the rough, and now you're looking at like basically either a hybrid or fairway route for a second shot, over that water. So, that personally was my second choice, and it's just because of that reason, thinking for a high handicapper, you've got water down the left, a second shot over the water. I think it's just a little bit more daunting for a high handicapper, and he's staring a double drop in the face every time he plays there.
As Dorian Ferree has said, Coach Dylan, do you disagree?
I mean, look, obviously, I mean, a lot of what all three of you are saying is sense, definitely. I agree with what you're saying. The one thing I want to add to that is, I mean, it's very rare that hole plays 360 meters. It plays closer to 400 meters because it's almost a fake dogleg, or a forced dogleg, should we say, because the further you go down the right, the longer your approach shot. So the gutsier you are as you hit it down the left-hand side, then the much shorter your approach shot, and the more you hit up the angle of the green as well. So the further right you go, you also hit now across the shape of the green, and it becomes a much narrower target, or shallower target, if you want to call it that. So yeah, nice hole. But I had another hole in mind for Copperleaf.
Yeah.
And also I feel like a lot of our holes have had water in play. So I was just trying to go for something a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
So I've selected Glen Vista, the par 4 up the hill. Just to follow up on how our course is shaping up. We've got a short par 4 down the hill, and then I feel it'd be nice to turn straight back up the hill and play a longer par 4 with a dogleg left. Just a simple hole, get your tee shot away, and it's it's the kind of uphill where it's half a club. It's enough to keep you thinking without getting silly, like maybe sometimes Eagle Canyon gets a bit silly with their elevation changes. So yeah, just a nice run-of-the-mill par 4 that fits nicely into how I've laid out the 18, and that's why I've gone for Glen Vista today.
Thank you, Dylan. Thank you for leading us straight into it. Okay, I'll go last. Donnie, what is your hole selection for today?
All right, so mine is the stroke one at Beaconwood.
Okay.
Standing on the tee box, it's all depending on the caliber of play. You've got a variety of shots that you can hit off the tee box. If the guy's a better player and he wants to take on his 3-wood over the bunker or driver, maybe he can, but there's a risk element of sloping down into the water there. Normal guys, better player, will also hit a long iron or mid iron, onto the fairway, next to the bunkers, and then it leaves you to with a 150, anything between a 130 and a 160 meter shot into the green. I don't feel the water there is, how can I say, in play. If you look at the green side, there's bunkers all protecting the green in the front. But the reason why I've chosen this hole is there's a lot of bailout areas for your higher handicappers on the left-hand side of the green where they can bail out. So, worst case scenario, they can walk off with a 5, most probably with a 6, but they still get a chance to make a 4. For me, that's why I've chosen that one.
Let me just add, if you go into that bunker, you're not going for the green. That's for sure. Lay up, and then you have to hope.
I have to say, I agree with a lot of that. That water is a distraction. It's such a clever design feature. It just distracts you. And for the right-hander, it's always in your eye line, so that's very clever. And it was actually my second choice, but as we know, I from show number 2 or 3, I think it was, the 13th, not the 12th hole at Beaconwood, but the 13th that I have my eye. But that Beaconwood was my second choice. I definitely considered that hole for a long time.
Okay. So as it seems like Copperleaf and Beaconwood are the front runners. I'll get to the polls in a second and the viewer choices, but I'm sure you want to know what my choice was. Now, because I'd already chosen other holes and I had to move things around, I have gone for Gauteng up the hill, that little par 4, which is not terribly difficult. We have to hit it over the road, as you can see. And if you get a good drive off, you've got about 146 meters, and if you can, it's not the hardest of holes, but it's not my first choice. My first choice probably would have been Copperleaf, but I do have it a bit later in my makeup. So Gauteng was mine. Any thoughts on Gauteng, or are we moving on?
I don't like it. We had Basil on the other day, and he mentioned it seemed like the Glen Vista the third, they'd run out of land and stuffed in a hole. I disagreed with that. I thought it was quite a good hole. But in this regard, I think that's spot on there. It's like they've run out of land. They put the tee box one side of the gate. You got to hit over the road, and then they just stuck a green in the little corner. No, it's I mean, it's
So
very average.
What we're saying is I'm not doing very well the last two episodes. No, I'll get my chance.
Just to add to Dylan there, with it being a tucked away hole, they just also chuck as many bunkers on there as they can just to try and make it interesting, which is not really the case.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and I think if you're going to do that and you're going to have those bunkers and a small green, then you can't shape it with the land, because now you've got a right to left hanging lie hitting onto a green that's sloping right to left on the firm greens. It's like, unless the flag's on the left, you can't get anywhere near it. And you've got a wedge in your hand. It's not like getting a mid-iron in there. I think it's a slightly poor hole.
Okay.
Now, I can also, if you think about it, also most of your guys are going to be scared to hit it into the road and into that guard box when you come in. So it's like everybody's sort of going to sort of almost leak it out right into the trees, and then you're also stuffed. So it's not a good time.
Sorry, boys. I apologize. If I could go backwards, PBR, I'd take it out.
The way they've done it as well, Donnie, I mean, if you do leak it or bail out right there, you hit it onto I think it's the 8th green. So then you've got, you've got your Saturday morning field, and it's a ducking on the 8th green for tee shots off the 6th. Nah, not good. Okay. Not good.
It's the only good thing if they've got beer with them and you can go for a topper.
Okay, well, let's recap quickly on the poll. As you can see, Copperleaf, thank you everybody for voting, Copperleaf. And Jackal Creek, surprisingly, the par 5 was second favorite. Then we get to Peakenwood. Eagle Canyon, that little up the hill blind right shot. Irene was voted for, and then My Soul Houghton. Okay, so seeing that Jackal Creek is second on the list, I would like to quickly touch on Jackal Creek before we get the viewer response. Dylan, you were Jackal Creekian. That's how we say it?
Oh, I mean, it's such a great hole. And recently, I think it's 6 or 7 months ago, they changed the left side of that hole to be a lateral hazard. And in my mind, made it even a better hole. Just a straight up risk reward. You just gotta strap on a big pair, and just pull off that tee shot. It's just fantastic. And once you do that, then it becomes essentially a par 4, so almost a guaranteed birdie. So just an absolute, like a cracking hole. For the better player off the back tee box, also maybe a little trickier, and then maybe gives you options of hitting a 2-iron or something between the bunkers. So I love that hole. But just as far as the par 5s that we've got, I just think it just doesn't quite make the mix. You got 18 courses. I don't know the math, but something like 54, I guess. 72 maybe. I don't know. Par 5s to choose from. It probably would make the top 10 of par 5s that you would choose, but it just doesn't quite make the top 4 that we have to choose.
Dylan, I want to ask you a question. What kind of golf bag where do you put the strap-ons in the golf bag?
Oh, mate, if you have to ask that, then that's a 3-shotter for you.
Okay, right. Before we get the viewers, some of our comments from our viewers, I'm going to put a question out there. So, the 6th hole, if you can think very quickly, taking out of the 18 that we have selected, are there any other 6 holes in the country that you do like? Okay, so here's some comments from the boys. Thanks for sending it.
Just a few thoughts on tonight's hole 6 for the show. Sorry, a bit late, but busy making a bit of homebrew so I can have some beers. Cheers. Lovely. Anyway, my thoughts, back to the golf. I've got 2 choices. Eagle Canyon 6, the blind. I actually like that hole. It's a bit of a risk and reward. You can either take an iron off the tee for some of the longer hitters, give you straight up the hill towards the marker, then you've got a nice easy shot going into the green. Or if you're a bigger hitter or just an idiot, you can just take it straight over the corner and you're left with a very simple 60 meter, 80 meter shot into the green. So bit of a challenging hole, risk or reward.
How's it, guys? My choice for the 6th hole of the Duckhook 18 is most definitely going to be Copperleaf 6, with the water running up the left, which you then have to cross. Taking drive off the tee box is a risky movement because you can roll into the water. You then hit into a green that's got bunkers all around. So my choice would definitely be the 6th hole of Copperleaf.
My selection for hole 6 of our golf course is Copperleaf number 6. I just love that hole. As a struggling to hit long person, that hole plays tough. But I've been for 2 on the green and been able to putt for birdie as well. So it's all about getting that drive right.
But I'm leaning more towards my other one, which is Copperleaf, the 6, the stroke one. Purely because it's a great little hole. I mean, of all the tees, front, back, middle, you name it, it's actually a good hole. If you can get your tee shot right, especially for me, I mean, I can take a driver off there because I'm not a long hitter. I can get it down, I can hit it onto the right-hand side, and it'll feed itself back down towards the water, leaving me around about 100, 125 meters into it.
There's a good 7th coming up, there's a good 8th coming up, there's some good 9s, 10s, 11s. So, I mean, those holes are actually choosing themselves. So from that perspective, you know, if we still have to fit in, you know, a copper leaf as well, this is definitely the place to put it.
And I wanted that last comment because Quibus makes a very good point, hey Fats. There are so many holes coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, just my reason for Copperleaf as well is it used to be my favorite golf course in Joburg a couple of years back. That changed. Still a great golf course, but I think to me the 6 just stands out. It's the best hole on Copperleaf for me. Look, they do have a couple of other good holes, but the 6 just does stand out the way it's been designed, the way it plays. So yeah, it's my favorite hole on the course. That's why I chose it.
Okay. All right, everybody.
Can I touch on a couple others there, Maz?
Yes, go for a couple of others. I'll put the graphic in.
Just having you open up there to the rest of South Africa. Two really spring to mind. Montague, fan called Montague.
Yep.
They got a tight little par 4 there where you hit your tee shot in between some bunkering and then almost an island style green. There's almost like a lake or whatever on the left hand side, and then it joins up at the green. That's a really cracking, just a beautiful golf hole. So that's one of my favorites. And then I don't know if anyone or a lot of people know it, but the 6th at Dissolza in the Cape, like a double dogleg par 5. It's like correct. A snaking par 5.
That's a tough hole.
Tee shot around some left-hand bunkers, and then it snakes around the dam by the green. That's also fantastic and a beautiful, beautiful golf hole as well. So, yeah, just a couple other 6 holes that came to mind while we were listening there.
Well done. Thank you for thinking about it.
Absolutely agree with Dylan there on Dissolza. We've been lucky enough to go down there a couple of times.
Played there a few times.
Dissolza is still my favorite down there.
Oh, I love Dissolza. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, we've been on air for 23 minutes. I don't think the debate is going to be very difficult to come to a conclusion. I just want to quickly show you the holes again. Boys, are there any other holes that we want to touch on this list? I don't really think so. I think other holes speak for themselves, other places. I'm going to quickly just say that 4th hole at 6th hole at Glen Vista is a tough one, because if you don't get that drive off either, then you're also struggling to make your par. Okay.
And the raised green, that's cool.
Okay, so should I just say Peakenwood? Not Peakenwood, Copperleaf?
No, first choice, Peakenwood.
Obviously, myself and Ryan will stick with Copperleaf. Just to touch on Glen Vista, great hole. I think that's about a dogleg left, as well. Yeah, it is definitely a great golfing hole, but I do have my eye on another hole at Glen Vista, which Dylan does not want on the list, so we can have a big fight when we get there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll touch on Peakenwood even with Donnie's selection. I think it's a stunning hole. I grew up playing golf at Peakenwood, so I've gone from being on the ladies' tees as a lighty and moved my way back. And exactly as he explained, you can risk going over the bunker, but actually I've played a lot there recently. And playing off the tips there, it's drive off the box, keep it right of the bunker, and like you said, you got sort of 150, 160, 140, whatever, depending on how it rolls out. And actually a deceivingly bigger green than you think, but it does have the catchment area behind. So if you hit it in the wrong place, you miss it a bit left, you drop into an ugly little dip behind the green, and it's a tough little up and down. A tricky green, very slopey green. There's pretty much no flat area on the green. That was a thought in my mind for this hole, but I couldn't think of another hole at Copperleaf that I like at all.
I think we're going to go with the viewers today.
I'd definitely say it was the strongest hole at Peakenwood.
I think we go with the viewers today, and we go with Copperleaf. They've been very for it. So well done, everybody watching. You've got Copperleaf. Yeah, hole 6.
And the viewers agree.
Tomorrow...
It's the viewer's choice. This one's the viewer's choice.
Tomorrow we're back on. We're doing a double header, hole 7 tomorrow, because we don't want to stay off too long. And then tomorrow also, there's some more live golf that's on Sunday. So we'll spend 5 minutes touching on the Tiger versus Phil matchup, right? The first one happened with Mickelson won after 22 holes, four-hole playoff. And would somebody like to guess what the winner earned for this event? Can you remember?
$1 million.
9 million big ones. That's ridiculous. The format changes to for this one. They are partnered with people. So Tiger Woods is playing with Peyton Manning, who is a retired NBA quarterback who played 18 seasons and is considered...
NFL.
Yes, NFL. Let's try that again. And is considered as one of the best quarterbacks of all times. And then Phil Mickelson's with Tom Brady, who also he's played 20 seasons with the New England Patriots and made 9 Super Bowl appearances. That's some impressive stuff. So we'll have a little chat. So do your homework, boys, and we can have a 5-minute discussion. And you guys at home, please join in on the action. Right, tomorrow, hole 7. This might be quick because as we've spoken to a lot of us, there's only one hole that stands out for hole 7. And we still need a par 3. So if I've made it any clearer, now you know. Everybody, are we happy?
Yeah.
Happy.
Nice.
Cool. Happy days.
Good.
We're content.
There's only one thing to do, is to give ourselves a round of applause and say goodbye. Cheers, everybody. Until next time.
Ciao.